Hello, and welcome to the Benchwarmers podcast. This is going to be episode 4. I am, as always, Casey Coggins, here with Alvin Hebert.
Free Kaepernick.
And Andrew Lara.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And yes, somebody does need to sign Colin Kaepernick. To you NFL owners out there,
Free Kaepernick.
get your shit together.
Gonna be out there with a sign and everything.
I saw a tweet today saying that he had a 90 quarterback rating, which last season, which isn't the greatest, because this isn't QBR, it's just the traditional quarterback rating, but that's higher than half of the league has through week 2. Right before we started this, we were talking Bengals, and I looked at the stats, and Andy Dalton has a QBR of 8. 8 through 2 games. So, I mean, I'm not saying Dalton needs to be benched for Cap, but
Put me in, coach.
But
Some people on his team some kind of
the
way.
Colts traded for Jacoby Brissett, and they've been starting Scott Tolzien. Some team just signed Ryan Nassib because his college coach is coaching the team from Syracuse. I think Ryan Nassib started 3 games for the Bills 4 years ago.
That's just horrible.
So there are some very questionable decisions about who the quarterback is on teams. That I'm looking at my screen right now, and I see Dolphins Jets coming up. The Jets need a quarterback. They're starting Josh McCown, who has numbers worse than Brady just had in one game. Now, granted, he was playing the Saints, but he had one game better than Josh McCown has had in 2, and it was kind of not even close. It looks like. So, as Alvin just said, free Kaepernick. Let him on a roster.
Gonna start a campaign.
But, so, it is Tuesday. So, Monday Night Football was last night, which concluded week 2 of the NFL season.
Congrats to your boys.
No, not the boys. The Lions. The boys had a stinker.
Just take the compliment.
The boys just have to lay in it.
But that's where we'll start. Is some reaction to that Cowboys Broncos game, which didn't turn out very well for the Cowboys. It was by far the worst game that they've had in the Dak Zeke era. I didn't watch a lot of the game. I had started, running errands, Sunday errands, and they had the hour-long weather delay because of lightning. So I got to watch a little bit, and then the Broncos started running away with that game, and I could tell it was just not, there was no emotion and no effort, it seemed, coming from the Cowboys on all sides. So I just want to see what y'all think about it. Alvin, what is your initial reaction to the Cowboys getting dominated?
Y'all ever seen that episode of Dave Chappelle where he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th? I please the 5th. No words, man. It just reminds me of those typical Cowboy games where it's a big game. It's a game that they need to step up and show, and then they don't show up, and so you just turn off the TV. You're I don't even want to see the rest of this. That's what it was. I mean, I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know if that hour delay killed everybody's vibe or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a baseball game. You're not icing a pitcher where a starting pitcher's gone through 4 innings and then a rain delay, and then he has to go and sit down for an hour and then have to re-warm up.
They were making up that whole situation when the Ravens and the Niners and that whole blackout because of Beyonce concert, whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that messed up their entire vibe. I don't know. It could. I don't know.
See, I think that case is a lot different because the Ravens were running away with that game. They had all the momentum. They had all the energy, and they were playing.
They turned off as soon as that power turned off.
They were playing such a great game, and then the blackout happened. But this This weather delay happened pretty early in the game. I think there was 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and it was 7-0. They lost 42-17.
Man, I don't know, because it looked like whatever the game plan, like our game plan is to run the ball, and they didn't do that. They ran it 9 times with Zeke. He had 8 yards, and then
I mean the Broncos
throwing
the Broncos came out and said, like, I mean, they said before the game, they said after the game, and they'll probably say until the end of the season if they ever if they have to play the Cowboys at any other point, which would have to be the Super Bowl, is they want Dak to beat them. Dak threw the ball 50 times. And I really like Dak. I think he is a very good quarterback, and you can win with him. But you can't win. I think you can't win because of him. He is, the kind of quarterback you need when you have a running back like Zeke, and you have a defense that might not be the greatest in the world. You just have him make some completions to move the chains, but you just pound the ball. If the running game is not working, you still have to commit to the running game, because you're allowing, by only giving the ball to Zeke 9 times, and looking at the numbers, they gave the ball to Zeke 9 times. Rod Smith, who I thought was a retired football player, carried the ball 2 times. And then Dak Prescott carried the ball 3 times. So they ran the ball 14 times the entire game.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it for them.
Yeah, even though it wasn't working, like, once you abandon the running game, you're playing into the hands of the Broncos, because they have the defense that they do. They have the pass rushers that they do. So,
well, one thing I got, I mean, you can say if I'm wrong or not, but we don't have that number 1 dominant receiver anymore. I don't think Dez Bryant is that guy.
I don't think Dez Bryant's ever been that guy.
I think Dez Bryant has all the physical skills to be that guy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him take the step that he needs to.
When you look at the games, he's not getting separations from the defenders. He's always being like
a typical Dez Bryant game would be 4 drop passes and like 1 spectacular catch, just to make you forget about it.
So when I watched Dez Bryant, and I thought he was going to have a very good year, because I thought him and Dak getting into the second year, I knew that they were going to open up the playbook a little bit for Dak. He's allowed to audible now. He's calling plays at the line of scrimmage. They've given him the full reins. There is no Tony Romo in the background anymore. Dak Prescott is the quarterback for the Cowboys.
Bet you they wish they had Tony Romo back there calling his plays.
Well, probably not, because it probably would have been just as bad with Tony Romo, because Dak Prescott really didn't have... Like, he threw the 2 interceptions, and he threw the ball 50 times. But
and that's good.
Like when you're
throwing the ball 50 times, you only got 2 interceptions.
Like, how many weren't caught though?
There are 20 incompletions. He went 30 for 50. But that's not surprising to me to see those numbers. I expect if Dak Prescott throws the ball 50 times, I expect the numbers to look exactly like they do. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and it's not conducive of winning for the Cowboys not giving the ball to Zeke. And the Dez Bryant thing is, I do think that he has the physical skills, like I said, but he just seems so interested in being a bully. You watch him against Josh Norman, and you watch him in Game 1 against Eli Apple, and you watch him against Aqib Talib.
Well, Janoris Jenkins, that game had him on lockdown.
And that too. Like, every cornerback that I see him guarded by, I feel like he thinks it's because he's so big and strong and fast that he can just throw a cornerback out of the way. So I see him focusing more on the hand fighting and the physicality of the receiver defensive back position, like the matchup. That he doesn't worry about sticking that foot in the ground and making that slant route like an Antonio Brown route. He's worried about making sure that he's physically dominating the defensive back. And I don't think he cares if the defensive back is draped all over him, which makes it hard on Dak, because now your window, when it could be, a 3-yard window, is a 1-yard window, and it's just tough to consistently hit that.
Yeah, in the first game, I can understand there was those 3 plays where he was clearly open, Dez Bryant, and Dak just for whatever reason overthrowing him and all that.
Oh yeah, that was all Russ. I kind of put
that was
that.
all Dak, but like that's just one part of that was just like one part of the game. The rest of the game, like you don't see him getting separation like that. Or
No, you don't.
Like,
and that's
it was
that's
the same thing
because I don't think he's worried about separation. I think he sees himself as the Odell Beckham kind of receiver, where all you have to do is throw the ball up to him, like Randy Moss. As fast as Randy Moss was, and as great as Randy Moss was, Culpepper could throw him the ball at any time, anywhere around him, and you had a likely shot of Moss catching the ball or it being an incompletion. And so I think Dez, just from what I've seen out of him.
But is Dez that guy? No. I mean,
see,
he could go up and get it, but like, are you going to like trust him to come down with it, like a Randy Moss or Odell?
Right.
Beckham?
Yeah. So I think Dez needs to. I think Michael Irvin, the playmaker, needs to get in there, or Chris Carter even. Chris Carter coaches every receiver he can. And Chris Carter has some of the best hands in NFL history and some of the best route running in NFL history. It's why he's one of, I think, like 18 receivers in the Hall of Fame. Dez needs to like focus on all the aspects. Like the best receivers in the game are Julio Jones, who will take a 5-yard slant, create the separation off the line of scrimmage, and then use his physicality and bullying the defensive backs with stiff arms.
It's going to come down to knowing when to use it and when not to.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought he would have modeled his game after Terrell Owens. Like, that's what Terrell Owens would do. He would get that slant route and then catch the ball. And then he's using his physicality to brush him off or run.
I watched a lot of the Saints-Patriots game. This is kind of a Saints house. And so we watched almost every play of every Saints game. And it just amazes me that Gronk is just a freak of nature. That dude is 6'7", 6'8", and like 270, 280, and can run like a 4.65 40 with hands that are about the size of a catcher's mitt. He just runs 5 yards, 10 yards, sticks his shoulder into somebody, and then uses that shoulder to do the push off. He doesn't put his hands on anybody unless he's blocking. He uses his size and his physical, what God blessed him with, this giant human body, and just uses his shoulder, sticks to the outside, puts the linebacker, safety, cornerback, whoever's guarding him, on their heels because they don't want him to cut outside, and it creates the separation when he cuts inside. And I don't know how many times I saw that in the Saints-Patriots game. I feel like I saw it about 7 times where Gronk would run 10 yards straight down the field. He would go and meet the defender who's going to be on him, and then he just uses his shoulder, kind of sticks that into him, and then makes his cut. He doesn't get hands. He doesn't hand fight like Dez does. Dez can use that kind of stuff, like use the fact that he's 6'5", 240.
Yeah,
like he's
solid.
Strong, and I think he runs like a 4.4, 4.5 40. So he has decent speed. You don't have to hand fight because hand fighting makes you have to think about what hand is going where, making sure you're not having any pass interference, and you're focused more on that than you are focused on running the route, getting to a spot, getting your hands up so that you're helping your quarterback. So I think Dez still has a lot of progressing to do as a receiver. And I don't know if it's gotten to the point in his career where this is going to be who he is.
This is who he is.
Yeah, because it's kind of like on the other side of that game, they have Demaryius Thomas, and he had all those great seasons with Peyton, and he even had a pretty good season with Tim Tebow, where he's catching the ball within 5 yards and then turning it upfield and using his size and speed then. But I don't see him as, a top-tier receiver like he could have been, because I don't think he worked on his route running. I don't see him running crisp, clean routes. He's a bubble screen, jump ball kind of guy, where they have Emmanuel Sanders, who is a crisp route runner. And that's why you see Emmanuel Sanders have a more consistent impact, I think, on games for the Broncos.
Well, I think it goes
Just like you see
Cole Beasley.
Well, I was gonna say you see Cole Beasley and Jason Witten. They're the consistent guys that you see in the Cowboys offense. And Dez is gonna be your playmaker, where Dez should be your Antonio Brown, your Julio Jones, your AJ Green, where you use him in any aspect on out of any formation, running any route, and he should be doing that. But he doesn't. We're just talked about Dez being the number one receiver, but I don't think it had anything to do with Dak. I don't think it had anything to do with Zeke. I don't think it had anything to do with Dez or the receiving. Nothing on the defense. This game came down to Jason Garrett being out-schemed and out-coached by a rookie head coach.
I just don't know the game plan
Yeah,
for the game, what it was.
There's no point in overreacting to it. It's just it was just a bad game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, oh man, Cowboys need to blow it up. Like, what the hell happened?
Well, time to get rid of
They
Jason
need to fight-
Garrett.
Yeah.
Man.
No. But this is a game where I actually thought, I was thinking it Sunday when I saw the final score and the outcome of the game, that I was saying it Monday at work to some Cowboys fans that come in, that this is kind of could be a blessing, because you lost by so much. You got completely owned from pretty much start to finish
You
of the
got
game.
people saying that you look dead or like you quit on your team or
Yeah, and the Cowboys haven't played a game like this. They haven't had a game like this in a year and a half. They won 13 games last season. They lost a total of 4 games, and in each 4 they were within a touchdown, I believe. So they were in every single game that they played last season. You don't know what's in you until you hit adversity. And I mean, it's week 2, and this might not be the extreme adversity, like, being down 28-3 in the late third quarter of the Super Bowl. Like, not that kind of adversity, but it's going to show a lot of Cowboys fans, and it's going to show the football world what Jason Garrett has as a head coach when he loses like this, when he has the talent that he does. It's going to show what Scott Linehan has as an offensive coordinator and how he bounces back as a play caller. It's going to show what Dak and Zeke have. Dez has the entire... this is going to be, I think, a good stepping stone for them. I think you can't win every game. Like, the Patriots got the closest to winning every game in a football season, which was a miracle. You just don't win every single game in the National Football League. So you have to lose at some point, and losing like this so early in the season, like, it would not surprise me to see the Cowboys go on and win the next 7 games and go back to looking like they were last season, because this is the first time that they've really just got hit in the mouth and, look, we're going to make Dak beat us. Now you decide what you're going to do. Are you going to try to run the ball still and stick to the run game? Or are you going to try to let Dak win football games? And you're going to win more with the former, not the latter. Stick with Zeke. Stick with Darren McFadden. And whatever running backs you throw out there. Doesn't matter who he is. Just run the ball. Stick to the run game. Run it at least 20, 25 times. Even if you're down 15, you have to stick to that, because that enables you to run play action still. And possibly, if they think you're going to pass the ball, because you're down 15 with 10 minutes left, Zeke has all the capability in the world of busting a 70-yarder, because they're playing pass and it creates a hole. So he gets into the second and third level and he punishes defensive backs.
Well, even though we lost this game, we still won that week because Giants lost and
Eagles lost.
And
the Redskins won, which I think they probably still should have lost that game. They didn't look very, very good against the Rams. The Rams kind of, Goff threw an interception on the first play of the final drive to try to go and tie the game up. But I don't see the Redskins really being that much of a threat to the Cowboys. So
The Giants look horrible.
So speaking of the Giants,
Yeah.
Monday Night Football and my team,
Your kitty cats.
my kitty cats, they actually roared last night, and they ran the ball, and they stuck to the run game. And if they're going to allow Matt Stafford to look like a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a guy that you can win a Super Bowl with, this is the kind of game plan you need. They ran the ball 32 times.
How many times they threw it?
21.
Yeah.
And, their defense is much improved. Their defense is I think, really good. Darius Slay and Glover Quinn are one of the best safety tandems in the league. Ziggy Ansah is, a top
Being that guy.
top
they got
pass
there,
rusher. Jared Davis, who, I didn't watch him much in college at Florida because I didn't, I don't watch a lot of Florida games. I can't say I watch a lot of those games because usually when they're on TV, there's another high-profile game, and I'm more interested in the high-profile game. Like, I would watch the Texas USC game over watching a Florida Tennessee game.
Hell of a game. Didn't see that one coming.
And so he's, he looks good. That defense looks good.
Well, how many times they sacked Eli that game?
5 times.
5 sacks.
Yeah, 5 sacks. Got the interception off of him, off of a tipped pass. They just kind of disrupted that team. They couldn't run. The Giants had 62 yards of rushing on 18 carries.
And this is with Odell Beckham back too.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He's not back. He was playing. He wasn't.
Yeah,
back, though.
He was
He
playing,
wasn't.
but I'm not.
There were some moments where I think the Giants kind of missed opportunities. Brandon Marshall is not the receiver they signed. He was supposed to be the guy that could help release Odell Beckham from the double coverage because he was somebody who you're going to be able to throw the ball to. But he has 2 receptions in 2 games, one of those games being without Odell. Abdullah, if he stays healthy and runs like this, that's just the Lions. This is, me trying not to be a homer, me trying to be objective about it, is like with a running game in Amir Abdullah, the Lions could very easily win the division. As good as the Packers can be with Rodgers and as good as the Vikings defense is, the Packers defense is a liability, can be a liability. The Vikings offense, if Sam Bradford comes back healthy, we still don't.
Yeah, what happened with Sam Bradford? I didn't even that was like a last minute thing.
He had a sprained knee from week 1. In his history with knee injuries, you don't want to risk it, so I understand why they kept him out. But going forward, if he goes out, the Vikings are done. The Bears are not going anywhere this season.
He saw against them and the Steelers.
Yeah.
But if Sam Bradford comes back, I don't think we really know how good the Vikings can be because they have a great defense. But we don't know if Dalvin Cook is going to be the Zeke Elliott back. As good as I think he is, I think he was the most ready NFL running back. Even though there were some people saying Kareem Hunt, I thought it was Dalvin Cook over Leonard Fournette. Stephon Diggs, I don't think is your elite number 1 receiver, but he's that Randall Cobb type of receiver where you can move him around. Yeah, Thielen is a tall, fast receiver they use as a deep threat kind of. Kyle Rudolph is a very good tight end. They have talent on offense. And Sam Bradford last season broke the NFL record for completion percentage. So
it's just a different team without Bradford.
Yeah, so who really they I think are a more complete team they are probably the most complete team in that division because you don't really know who the Lions are yet this season because they are growing on defense, and their defense again has looked really good the first 2 games against the Cardinals and the Giants. I mean, neither team has really been good. Either of those teams have really been good.
Not living up to their potential as
But it's still a positive sign that Matt Stafford can win you football games.
you gotta win those games though. So
And, one of the things that everybody talks about with Stafford and the Lions is that they are the comeback kids, because I think this is the first game they didn't, at no point last season did they lead a football game wire to wire like they did last night. So this is the first time in a while that they've led a game wire to wire. So you know that they can come back from deficits, and if they can run the ball, I think they can be the division winner, which is something I didn't foresee coming into this season. I saw the Pack
none of us.
winning that. Yeah, I saw the Pack winning that division. I thought the Lions could be really good, but because I knew the moves that they made, but I didn't see this out of them. So that was a positive Monday Night Football game for me. And going on to the Lions' next opponent, the Falcons just handled the Packers. Just handled them. And, you look at the score, the final score of that game was 34-23. And that was Atlanta just pumping the brakes. They knew they didn't need to score anymore. All they had to do was run the ball. All they had to do was run down the clock, don't turn the ball over. And this is kind of one of the reasons why I picked the Falcons to win the Super Bowl this year, is I know how good they are because I watched them last season. And if y'all watched them last season, y'all should know how good they are. And they were young. They had a young team. They were like the Seahawks when they first went to the Super Bowl and blew out the Broncos. That team was young. So I just saw the Falcons just using that Super Bowl loss and building on it. In this game, if you watched it, they knew they had the lead. They knew they had a dangerous offense on the other side of the field, and they controlled the ball, the clock.
Yep.
They made the defensive plays that they needed to. Also, doesn't help that Aaron Rodgers.
He got lit.
Yeah. I mean,
he got
without
lit.
Jordy Nelson, that's a completely different team.
And Randall Cobb. Cobb got hurt that game also.
Yeah, so I don't think that by the time Cobb got hurt, that the Packers were going to be doing anything. They scored, I think, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it the 23-34 game, but it was 34-10 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, do the Packers even have a run game?
They have Ty Montgomery. But you go down 24-7 at half, you're going to kind of abandon the run game. You're not going to pound the rock as much.
This is the second time I asked if they have a run game. I keep forgetting about Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, that was your boy too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not having memorable games. You know what I mean? It's just like
He carried the ball 10 times. The first game he had a good game, but I mean the Falcons.
You're looking at they're giving him 10 to 15.
The Falcons are the best team in the NFC. I think that's without question. The Falcons are the best team in the NFC, because every other team I think in the NFC has just very obvious flaws, or they have possibilities of having flaws. Where I think the only possible flaw that the Falcons have is making sure their defense stays fresh. Like, that's the only reason they lost the Super Bowl, is that their defense was tired. If that's your only flaw, you can fix that very quickly. You hand the ball to Devontae Freeman 19 times.
Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman broke some big runs, but I think the Falcons looked just as good as I thought they were going to. I didn't know that they were going to. I mean, with no Jordy Nelson, that changes the Packers a little bit. You've seen in the past how much of an impact Jordy has on Aaron Rodgers, but usually it's not this much of an impact. And I don't know if it might have been playing this game after having to play the Seahawks in the first game. I need to look at the numbers. That's something that I should probably research. looking at teams the first game after they play the Seahawks, what their records are. Because, when you play a physical defense like that and you have 6 days to get healthy and game plan and practice for your next team, and that next team is the Falcons.
Well, Falcons also have a physical defense also.
Yeah. So I think the Packers were kind of set up for failure with this game.
It was a trap game.
Yeah. And it was the first game in the new It was the first game in the new Mercedes Dome, Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta.
With the closed Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, with the closed Chick-fil-A for whatever reason
religious reasons.
Well, no, they put in. I was saying for whatever reason they put in a Chick-fil-A.
It was Sunday. Sunday.
But I mean, I don't know if y'all saw that, but this is something that I really wish other owners of all the other major sports will look into. Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, went to like 1975 concession stand prices.
I did see that.
Like $3 like nachos and $3 pizza slice and like $2 hot dogs and
how much were the beer though?
I think they're $5.
Bruh.
You pay for it with the ticket prices.
Yeah, see,
it's $3 nachos with $300 tickets.
That's the trap card activation right there.
But that's the thing is they, you pay, all football tickets are pretty expensive, especially if you want good seats.
Especially these like brand new like state of the art stadiums now.
Yeah, so here's a little. So classic hot dog $2, pizza slice $3, nachos $3, pretzel $2, peanuts $3, regular Coke or soda $2, souvenir $4, waffle fries $3.
Waffle fries.
Classic Chick-fil-A's closed, not their fries.
Classic cheeseburger $5, chicken tender basket $6, popcorn $2. Bottled waters $2 and the 12-ounce Bud Light's $5.
I don't drink Bud Light.
You still pay for the alcohol, but that should go without saying. Alcohol is always going to be expensive.
You're not paying $7 for it.
But instead of spending $12 on a burger and fries, you can get your food cheaper and you can buy an extra drink. Because, we always need an extra drink at that football game. But I think that's really cool, and I wish that other owners will do that. I mean, the Falcons and Arthur Blank probably aren't hurting for money.
I'm sure none of these football owners are hurting for money.
Yeah, so it's... I don't know, Jerry Jones and all his legal battles.
Man, as long as the oil's flowing, so is Jerry's money.
So I just that's a nice little thing that Arthur Blank is doing for the Falcons fans over there in Atlanta.
Big up to Arthur Blank. They should do
finish
that for
off
basketball games too.
Yeah, they really should. Except I have a nice little connection at the AT&T Center, so I tip my bartender.
See how he holds out on this?
We haven't gone to a game together, man.
Yeah, man. You can go to games with us.
I bought the tickets to the home opener for the Spurs and Wolves.
I need to buy mine still.
Lower level. They were $125 a piece. And as long as my buddy's working, who I don't know when I play him in fantasy football, but whenever I do, I need to kick his ass. But I just go up there and I depending on how much I have, if I just have 2, he doesn't charge me. And if I have like 4 or 5, he'll charge me the first one.
4 or 5.
Charge one time.
And then give him a tip of like $25. So I might pay at the prices they have. That's 2 beers that I just paid in a tip. So week 2's over. We looked at the slate of games for week 3, and it's going to be terrible.
Wow.
It is a disappointing schedule.
It's a good day to take the family out.
Yes, Sunday, get out, run your errands. Take the dog to the dog park.
Don't have to feel so bad about missing
Take the kid walking. Get your meal prepping done. Go out to the lake or river. Drink a few. Because looking at it, there can be probably some good games, but by good games I mean it's like 21-20 with 3 interceptions and just ugly football that ended up being a close game.
It's
Or just
nothing
a
but
couple
defensive
blowouts.
touchdowns.
Yeah, like the Seahawks Titans game might be a good one. The Texans Patriots I think might be a good one. The Bucks Vikings if Sam Bradford plays will be a good one.
I think the Chiefs Chargers is going to be a good one.
Yeah, see that one could be, but you never know which Chargers team's going to show up.
And the Falcons, Lions.
By the way the Chiefs are playing. But the only matchup this week with both teams 2-0, I believe. Let's make sure I have that right. Yeah, the only matchup that both teams are 2-0 this weekend is the Lions and the Falcons, who we just talked about, because they played prominent games this past weekend. And Detroit's at home, and I think this is the moment that they need to show the NFL and the league and the fans
They got to beat a team like the Falcons.
who they are, and they don't need to win. They don't need to win. They can't get blown out. They can't give up Aaron Rodgers type stats, because Aaron Rodgers just dominates the Lions. But they can't give up 5 touchdowns in the first half. They just can't get blown out. Like if they lose because, Matt Prater missed a field goal, or they lose because Stafford threw an interception with less than a minute remaining on the final drive. Like, to me, that's not anything that I'm going to say, oh, well, the Lions aren't ready yet.
So you're going for moral victory here?
I'm definitely going for moral victory. I'm a big believer in moral victories.
Wins.
I think one of the greatest moral victories of all time is the 2008 Giants, when they barely lost to the undefeated Patriots. And so when they met in the Super Bowl, they had all the confidence they needed. They knew they could hang with this just juggernaut of an offensive squad. That propelled, I think they held the Patriots to 17 points in that season finale, and they squeaked in as a wild card team. They were this 5 or 6 seed, and they ran through the NFC in the playoffs, and they beat the 18-0 Patriots. Like, that Week 17 game was huge for the Giants that season. So I'm a believer that moral victories can happen, just like I think, losing a game like the Cowboys did, that wasn't a moral victory.
Set your mind straight.
But yeah, that's,
right. Well, that's why the Cowboys, I feel like the way the Cardinals have been playing, they got to freaking smash them this game.
This is why the Cowboys are not going to lose a game for the rest of the season. We're going 15-1.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's going to run the table all the way.
But, it is Sunday night, or Monday night football.
But they got to smash the Cardinals to show, like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, they're going to break their wings.
Yeah,
Got it. Clip them.
I can see, the Cowboys need to win that game like 35-10.
Yeah, they got to smash
But the Lions, like I said, don't care if they win the game. They just have to keep it close. They just have to be competitive. They have to show that they'll be committed to the running game. They won't let Matt Stafford throw the ball for 50 times. Because very, very few times do you see a quarterback throw 50 times and they actually win a game. Usually when you throw 50 times, it's because you're down.
Well, we got to win this game because Giants and Eagles are playing, and then you got the Raiders and the Redskins playing.
Yeah, but the Raiders are going to beat the Redskins, and I don't see that game being close.
We can't go down 1-2.
The Raiders are probably going to win that game. I would say like 42-17.
And the way the Giants are playing, I'm thinking the Eagles are going to win that game.
Well, I said that I think the Giants beat the Eagles because
the Giants' offense is just
it is, and
and the Eagles' defense
Ben McAdoo needs to make the adjustments, and I think that
don't put the blame on Eli Manning like he did.
He didn't put blame on him. He blamed him for that one play, but for getting a delay of game. But you were looking at a 9-page playbook. Your playbook has a ring around it that you flip through. Like,
have you seen Andy Reid's playbook? It's like a dinner menu, though.
Man, maybe it is a dinner menu. Maybe he's just hungry. Man, you can't hate the man for wanting to eat.
But see,
he knows what he's familiar with. And he's familiar with
Andy Reid's
food menus.
Andy Reid's playbook is one like 9x13 poster board.
He thinks he's in college still.
And
I'll take that one. But can I substitute it with sweet potato fries, please? Trying to stay healthy.
I'm gonna need a side of loaded mashed potatoes and sweet potato fries and tater tots. Regular French fries. Can I get some curly fries too, please? And then
with the French fries, can you load it up with like the sour cream and the bacon bits, like like a loaded mashed potato or a loaded baked potato, but on fries? I've seen them on those Facebook videos, and I love them.
But hey, who knows? Andy Reid is kind of an older man. Maybe he needs a playbook that big so he can actually read his plays, and the text is like super ginormous font. Like 40 point text.
And he still has to hold it up to his face like, what does that say?
But but his is only one page. Like this dude, Ben McAdoo has to flip through pages and like flip it back and like over and like
it's just one page and color coordinated.
It's terrible.
It's very pretty.
So I think the Giants defense is good enough to keep them in games. Like they lost 24-10. Which, that's 2 touchdowns. And that 2 touchdowns is very easy to make up.
Even though it was 24-10, it was a bad game.
It was one-sided.
They were very bad.
That game should have been up there.
But that's the thing, is their defense is so good that if they get any kind of semblance of a run game and Odell comes back and he starts dominating and they figure out what to do, because they haven't made adjustments. They didn't make an adjustment against the Cowboys. And then going into week 2, they didn't change anything. They stayed the same. They were the same team that played the Cowboys. And that's not how it works. The best teams in the league will adjust to something that didn't work the previous week. Unless the scouting report says, hey, screenplays work on this team. Then you won't make an adjustment. Like if you run screenplays week 1, it doesn't work against the Cowboys. But then the scouting report, you look at all these teams torching the Lions on screenplays. Run screenplays. Like, don't make the adjustment. But you didn't make an adjustment. Kind of like what we were saying with the Cowboys. What is your game plan? What are you trying to do, McAdoo? Like, what do Wakadoo?
What to do, McAdoo? That's a shirt.
It's a Roger Miller song.
It's going to be a little clip on YouTube singing this.
Do McAdoo, do McAdoo.
What you do, McAdoo?
So, yeah, I mean, I see them making adjustments because they're a professional football team. Like, and they have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and they have Odell, and they have a good defense. They just need to make the adjustment. I think they do. I think they beat the Eagles. But other than that, I'll still watch week 3 because, it's football.
Side note, I did win the bet against my dad.
All right. Well, that concludes the football talk. Let's get into something fun with KD. Kevin Durant, what the hell are you doing, man?
KD Trey 5, what's going on?
What in the world are you doing? Like, I was listening to somebody talk about, I think it was Will Kane on the Ryan Russillo show, and he was talking about you and talking to a fan, replying to a fan, saying like, look, I play Xbox and I drink soda and I go out and I hang out with people and like I'm just an NBA player by trade, but I'm a normal person. Yeah, I understand you trying to rationalize why, like you being a normal person.
God damn it, Katie. What is that handle though that you were supposed to be in? I want to know that. What's that Twitter handle you were trying to tweet from?
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
Tell me, KD, if you're listening, what is the handle?
Man,
I want to see what else you tweeted at yourself.
Yeah, I
Stay good, bro. You didn't take the easy way out.
Like what are they like fucking like diary notes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like, so I've been a big Kevin Durant fan since he went to UT. I'm a big UT fan. So I've followed his career. I had his Thunder jersey. Being a Spurs fan, I had a Kevin Durant Thunder jersey because I'm such a big fan of his game, and I think he is the greatest scorer of the basketball in NBA history. But at some point, you have to learn maturity. Like
I don't know. I like his savagery on Twitter when he snaps back at the.
But like that's the thing.
People.
I don't care if he does it from his account. Like I think it's funny. Like if LeBron got in on his Twitter. And,
Joel Embiid is known most for his Twitter.
Yeah.
He's trying to holler at Kim K and Rihanna.
He's like just let it out. Like you don't need to go and try to make excuses and try to like rationalize with fans. You hear it all the time when people bring up fans. It's short for fanatic. And fanatics do not care. They are going to have that opinion no matter what you do. They are going to hate you. They're going to love you. There are very few times where you go from hating to loving somebody. That's like, as a professional athlete, you might respect them, but you don't become a fan and you don't start rooting for them unless the team that they are playing is somebody you hate more. If the Yankees were to play the Cardinals in the World Series, I'm a Cubs fan. The Yankees and the Cardinals are my two least favorite sports teams. But if it comes down to it, I hate the Yankees more than I hate the Cardinals, so I root for the Cardinals. That is okay. Like KD, your fans are going to talk shit. That's what they do. They don't have a life. Well, they have a life, but they can get on Twitter and they can tweet at you. They can get into your mentions, and that's their only way of getting close to you from, living.
So apparently, there's an NBA page on Reddit that found his private page.
Oh, really?
The secret page?
Yeah, that's followed by like people like Draymond Green and like Big Sean, and it's a private account.
No shit.
Yeah, see, I heard that his private accounts have some interesting followers.
Yeah.
But
do we have a handle though?
I just think, he's trolled fans through his account. You don't need to go on some private account and say, oh, well, maybe he's doing this and maybe he's doing that and like trying to reason with somebody. You don't need to reason why you went to Golden State. You're going to get hated for it no matter your reasons. Know that. Just understand that. You're going to get hated because you went to Golden State. It doesn't matter the reasons. I understand the reasons. Like, I understand why LeBron went to Miami. That just happens. You have reasons for leaving the team.
Is this the handle?
I don't know, man. What is it? I don't even know how to pronounce that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird.
It's weird.
Choir Sultan. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Choir Sultan.
But I don't know what y'all think about it. But I think you don't need to make excuses and try to reason with people about why you made a decision unless that you're reasoning. Like, you don't need to reason with some random fan.
Yeah, you're your own man. You don't make your decisions.
Maybe reason with Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, like, and Draymond, like the guys that you actually interact with and play basketball for and with, work with. Like, it's a job. Your coworkers and your bosses, like, those are the people that you reason with. You don't need to reason with some random stranger. Like, fuck him, KD.
He does.
I hate that he went to the Warriors. I think that ruined basketball.
He hoed himself for that ring.
I think that
even though he was a catalyst on why they won the ring.
Oh, absolutely. He's the top. I think he's a top 3 player. And really, he's second or third. I mean, I have a little bit of a homerism for
Kawhi.
I have a homer boner for Kawhi. But KD, is far and away a better offensive player,
Better
than
shooter.
better passer, better rebounder than Kawhi is. So overall, I think Kevin Durant might be the better player than Kawhi. I mean, he's not as good defensively, on ball, off ball. Like he had his best defensive season this last season. But it's easy to be that great of a player to go and play for the Warriors and be, have your best defensive season or have your best offensive season, because you have to be worried about the other guys. Draymond Green is the best defender on that team, and Klay Thompson is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So Klay can guard the ball handler or the two guard. Draymond can guard the big man. You leave Kevin Durant weak side defense on Andre Roberson or somebody like a Matt Barnes or a Thabo Cephalosha kind of player. Like, he can leave them and use his... What?
You should have let me on Twitter. HBO's making a watching series.
Nice.
Can't wait for that though.
I just, I think this stupid Twitter thing is like I said, it's stupid.
I think it's funny.
I think it's funny.
I think it's funny. I mean, I just wish it was real. I mean, I wish KD was real about it. Just like
Do it on his actual.
He did. He came out today in that interview and was like, yeah, it was childish and idiotic, and like I did this. Like,
See, but I don't like that when they like come up and like it was childish and idiotic. It's like, nah, it's childish and idiotic because you got caught for it.
yeah,
Just
it's
like-
childish
like-
and idiotic that you tried like being slick about it, but
Yeah,
But at least
I think we're all.
like, yeah,
I think
said
we're
it.
all in the same corner. KD and anybody else in any professional sport or any celebrity or anybody, like, just be real. Like, just straight up with somebody. Like, if somebody was to tweet at me talking shit about something that I did, I'm not going to create a fake account or a private account and be like, oh, well, he did this because of that. No, I'm going to tell that person either to fuck off, I'm going to mute them, or I'm going to shoot my shot, as Shea Serrano will put it on Twitter. Take some screenshots of who it is, what they said, me going to their page, and me blocking them. That's all
nah, I believe in the old fashioned go to their page, look at stuff, and make fun of it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, look at you with your little ass forehead.
Yeah.
You got them
Making fun of
dolphin teeth. Can't talk with them teeth.
Yeah, making fun of the avatar or the bio. Some of the bios are hilarious.
Yeah, man, like, I believe in it's a sense of due diligence.
6'5" and ready to ride. What are you doing?
Right, what?
So let's finish off this podcast with doing some baseball talk, because we are going to possibly see something that has only been done eight times.
The man known as Thor.
As Mike, aka Mike, Giancarlo Stanton.
I was like, Mike?
Yeah, that's what he came into the league as. He was Mike Stanton, and then he changed his name to Giancarlo. Family reasons, I believe. So last night when we were talking about what we were going to talk about on this podcast, and Alvin, you brought up Giancarlo going for 60, I was curious, and so I went to baseballreference.com, which is all the reference.coms for sports: football reference, basketball reference, baseball reference. Such a good website for stat nerds like me, people who like to research things and curious, like, oh, well, how does this player compare to this? Well, 8 times has a player hit 60 home runs or more. The last time that it was done was Barry Bonds and Sosa in 01. It's been 16 seasons. And if you look at these guys, the only guys that that probably didn't take steroids are Roger Maris and Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth also did it before they allowed everybody to play. He played in the segregated league, and he played before, I believe, they raised the mound. So some of his numbers, as great of a player as he is, and as like he is the original home run king.
I mean, not taken away from him, but
yeah, it's different eras. It's hard to compare eras.
Right.
I think he also did it in 120 games. I'm looking at pulling that up. But McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, the only other guys since Roger Maris to hit 60.
And you know they were juiced.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly juiced.
Or on Bond's case.
So for Giancarlo doing this, like it's amazing because I have no doubt that he is clean because watching him from his rookie season when he got to the big leagues, he was already a big, strong baseball player.
Yeah, you look at him now; he's just lean. He's a
like he has Barry Bonds as his hitting coach, and like some people might be like, oh, well, maybe he's slipping him some stuff and like teaching him how to cheat and not get caught. But Barry Bonds, before he inflated his head like a damn balloon, he was,
he was skinny like Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
and then he comes out.
He was 40 seasons. He was doing stuff like him and Griffey were by far the two best players, non-pitchers in the league.
Outfield.
Yeah, in the outfield. Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he started taking steroids, allegedly. And it's to me it's incredible. Like
he's at 55 right now.
Yeah, he's at 55.
And they're playing the Mets right now.
They're playing right now, and he has after tonight he has 11 games to get 5.
And 3 of them are in Colorado.
Yeah,
so which that's going to help because the ball gonna fly. But you look at the teams that he's playing against: the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and then it's 4 games with Atlanta.
Yeah, see, and he's not. It's not like he's
possible.
playing. Yeah, he's playing any teams that are scary as far as like not giving up home runs. Like you said, going to Coors Field, that's home run hitter paradise. So it was 151 games that Babe Ruth hit his 60 home runs in. Giancarlo's at 147 played right now.
I think it's going to take him longer games, but I think he's going to get it.
Let's see where we're at looking at that game. I mean, it's top 8, 3-1. Mets. And Giancarlo, what you doing? 0 for 1. They've walked him twice. So I mean that's kind of disappointing. Like
that's another thing that I hate too, because like they gonna give him that like walk treatment, that Barry Bonds treatment.
But that's still kind of the incredible part about what Sosa was doing and what McGuire was doing and what Bonds did and some of these other home run hitters were doing, is they were getting intentionally walked all the time. Bonds broke the walk record in the home run record in the same season.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Well, he broke that walk record like long before.
He broke the walk record like 5 straight seasons.
That was insane.
And I mean, I watched him break the home run record, career home run record live when that happened, and that pitcher just gave it to him. He threw like an 88 mile an hour fastball right down the middle. But I mean, it was still cool to watch, and I hope that Giancarlo makes it. I hope he gets the 60, because I think that's baseball has exciting players. They have a lot of young talent. Giancarlo's 27. Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Nolan Arenado, Clayton Kershaw still in his 20s, Chris Sale's in his 20s. Ignore the background noise. Roommates just got home. And dog likes to bark at them.
And that's all, folks.
And so...
Well, that's not to sweep it under the rug either, but Cleveland Indians are doing with that
22 game win streak.
That's also something that I meant to touch
last
on.
game they won went to innings.
I 22 in a row, and I have ESPN on all the time, or Fox Sports, or MLB Network. Like, my TV is pretty much never off, and it's barely off of sports.
Yep.
And I feel like I didn't really hear about the Indian streak until it got to about 15, and that's when Pedro Gomez was following them around, and they started doing are they going? Look at them, they're on a 15-game winning streak. Like, I remember hearing that they were on 9 and 10. but it wasn't like an extravaganza. It
I didn't really hear it. It didn't really get big until they beat the A's. When that Moneyball era was popular, when they beat the A's record.
I mean, that was 20 when they got to 21, because those A's won 20 in a row. So even then, like, yeah, that's super late in the streak. That's so like.
I don't think it was till like 15 or 16 that SportsCenter was making their little collages.
And I mean, thinking about it, why would they make a big deal about a super big deal about a 9-game winning streak when the Dodgers won like 51 of 55 games earlier in the season and I think they had 2 winning streaks of at least 10 or 12 earlier this season.
Yeah, but then when they started losing that 9 games in a row, it was like, what's wrong with the Dodgers?
Speaking of the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, and I believe his like 1900th career inning. I think that's what I heard, is that he's pitched in 1,924 innings. Gave up his first career Grand Slam.
God damn. 1,900 innings and 1 Grand Slam.
A couple years ago in the postseason when they played the Cardinals, and he gave up the home run in the 7th inning to Matt Adams. It was the first postseason home run that he'd given up to a left-hander. Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher of this generation, and before it's all said and done, could be the best pitcher ever. And it's, some stats will skew things, but his career ERA is 2.3 in this era.
I'm not even a Dodgers fan, man. I hate the Dodgers.
But like Nolan Ryan pitched for 22 seasons. Cy Young pitched in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Sandy Koufax,
Pedro Martinez.
But Pedro Martinez, he had such a great peak to his career. The 98 to 2003. Even when or 2004, that was like his 6-year stretch. But after that, he tailed off. Randy Johnson. The list goes on with great pitchers. Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine. But Clayton Kershaw is just his numbers and what he does. I haven't seen. He's the best pitcher of our generation, and
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I love watching him pitch. I was a little bummed that he didn't pitch the Cubs game that I was at earlier this season when I went to that ring ceremony. I want to see him pitch. Luckily I got to see Jose Fernandez pitch twice last season before he passed away. So it's always cool seeing these like outstanding pitchers pitch, because sometimes you go to I don't know how many baseball games y'all have gone to. I've been to about 20 now. And sometimes you go to a game and you're like, I hope it's a good pitching matchup, and you buy the tickets in advance, and by the time that the game happens, it's like 4th and 5th starters, and they're starting some random rookie, and it's a it's a bullpen game, and you're like, man, all right, well, since I don't know this pitcher, or like I don't really care about this pitcher's ERA, and I just want to see like a 15-15 game. Like I want to see home runs, and I want to see double. Yeah. But when you see a starting pitcher like Kershaw or Chris Sale or Jake Arrieta, you want to see a no-hitter. And you just like those guys when you watch them pitch, it's like you want to see a 1-0 game. Now, granted, when Kershaw pitches the Cubs, I want to see like a 9-0 game for the Cubs. Like I said just earlier, like I think baseball has as much, if not the most talent that it's ever had. And all these guys are young. And I think that Rob Manfred has done a really good job as a commissioner.
Hey man, I'm right there with them, with Bryce. Just make baseball fun again. Give them the juice.
But you don't need to give them the juice to make it fun again.
I want to see that ball fucking flying.
They're about to break the record for most home runs in the season.
Yeah, but I want to see just straight killing the ball.
Have you not watched Aaron Judge hit a home run?
No, I have, but that's just him being 6'7".
Joey Gallo the other night hit a 490-foot home run?
Mm-hmm.
He hit it to, you've been to Ranger Stadium. You've seen that ballpark. You know that grassy hill that they have in the center field. He hit it to the top of that that hill.
Yeah. Man, it was a windy night.
And on that note, let's wrap this up for episode 4 of the Benchwarmers podcast. Casey Coggins signing off here with Alvin Hebert.
Again, free Kaepernick.
And Andrew Lara.
See ya.
We'll take your girl, pay you no mind. Stealing hearts is what we do. Watch out, girl, I'm coming for you. Watch out, girl, I'm coming for you.